Good evening. Good evening. Good morning. Good afternoon. Whatever. I'm sorry I had another technical difficulties, so I have to reboot my live stream. I don't know why, but YouTube just said due to some issues, technical problems, so I had to reboot my setting and accessed once again. Good evening. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Is audio okay? And what about the camera? Is camera working all right? Oh, good evening, Chris Williamson. こんばんは. Thank you very much for watching my live stream again. Black Teng-san, hey. Long time no see. How are you, Mike? Chris Williamson, audio and video are both good. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your confirmation. Sorry about delay. This is Toshihiko Yamamoto from Yamamoto Property Advisory in Tokyo. I am the licensed agent, and I'm running a very small boutique type of broker firm. And I am supporting the foreign investors in Japan, outside Japan, mainly for the properties located in the central area of Tokyo, like Minotoku, Meguroku, Shibuyaku, and those locations. I sometimes support the properties in remote areas, but mainly as a consultant. Right. This week has been Obon week in Japan. It's a spiritual week for us, and we welcome the spirit of our ancestors. Now, usually, we have the family gathering. Families getting together, the parents or grandparents, and see each other and say hello, and to check how they are going. And often they go to pay a tribute to the ancestors. I mean, our ancestors, and go to the お墓って何て言うんだっけ? In English, graveyard, and say thank you to our ancestors, because we are not here without our ancestors. So we have to thank our ancestors, showing the appreciation that for raising our family, raising my parents or raising my grandparents. And we welcome their spirit. But since I'm divorced and I'm single, and my mother is in hospitalized now right now, so I didn't really go to my parents, and my father passed away anyway 2 years ago, so I stayed in Tokyo and being a mellow, but I was not very well on Wednesday and Thursday. It's just too hot, and I was kind of half working, half sort of resting. I recovered from yesterday, so I started working and yesterday, and today I worked half day and I went to gym and did some yoga. Right. So since we it's been spiritual Obon week, we don't have any market news, but I did pick up some of the industry news for you guys. Right. We had only maybe this news. The Sanko Estate, who is the kind of a think tank for the industry, but they are focusing on the office market. And they just announced the latest market report for Tokyo. And this is their report. And macroeconomics, they said in Japan, April to June, first quarter, our financial months normally start from April, not January. And for last, the first quarter of Japanese GDP grew by 3%. Okay, I didn't know that. It's been stagnant, but it grew 3% first time for 3 quarters. And office market is kind of improving. It looks like it's coming back. The vacancy ratio in Tokyo, 5 central area. I mean, 5 central cities like Minato-ku, Shinjuku-ku, Shibuya-ku. Vacancy ratio was 4.05%. And it's minus 0.17%. So vacancy ratio dropped, which means market is growing, improving, positive way. This is the long-term chart for 6 big cities, including Tokyo, Sapporo, Sendai, Nagoya, Osaka, and Fukuoka. And as you can see, before the COVID, the vacancy ratio was even below 2%, as you can see, right? Oops. Maybe you cannot see because of my face. Let me remove my face. It was below 2% before COVID, but due to the COVID and a lot of people, companies started remote working, and the vacancy ratio jumped up and reached something like 5%, 5.5, and it's now starting to drop again. So apparently the companies, large corporations and small medium corporations, asking their employees to come back to the office. So they want to watch us. And this is the rent of the main business district, Marunouchi Otemachi. Large office building, the rent is about 40,500 yen per tsubo. We have a peculiar sort of unit called tsubo when it comes to real estate calculations per square rather than per square meters. Tsubo is approximately 3.3 square meters. So 40,579. So per square meters, 40579 12,275 yen per square meters. And as you can see, it is Marunouchi Otemachi area, the central area, like large corporations are located, like Mitsubishi, Mitsui, Nomura, Mizuho Bank, Mitsubishi Bank, all those big names, entities, and are having the head office over there. And it is the most expensive area for the office. 40,000 yen per tsubo. Kojimachi Bancho area, which is another nice area, but it's only for the Bancho Kojimachi area are full of the offices, but as well as the residential properties as well. But very few people living in Marunouchi and Otemachi. It's just simple, very, for those being there are only offices, right? It's like a Wall Street. Nobody's living there. And the Kojimachi Bancho area, it's residential office area, 26,000 yen. Kanda, Uchikanda, which is close to Tokyo Station, 26,000 yen per tsubo. Iidabashi, Kudan, another kind of more like office area, 22,889. And if you go to Shinjuku, 26,000 yen. Kabukicho, red light district, 29,000 yen. Waseda, where the university is located, 22,000 yen. Ikebukuro, 23,000 yen. 27,000 yen, rather. Meguro, 24,000 yen. Shibuya, 32,000 yen. So which is more expensive? Shibuya is, I would say, more like office areas, but there are quite a few residential properties as well. And Yoyogi Sendagaya, it's more like a residential area, 28,000 yen per tsubo. Ebisu Hiro, very nice area to live. Very, very upscale area. 32,000 yen. Akasaka Aoyama, very nice area. Again, there are offices and some shops, and it's like I would say, Knightsbridge in London. It's a very upscale, good for residential properties as well as the commercial properties. Akasaka Aoyama and Roppongi, of course, is 28,000 yen. But offices in Roppongi is not that expensive compared to the Marunouchi. Marunouchi is the most expensive area. So the point is the office market is improving after the COVID. And oh, by the way, if you have any questions, please put your questions on the chat section, and I will address your questions later on. Tokyo Kante, another think tank, announced the latest report on 15th of August, just a few days ago, about the rent in Tokyo. 23 cities in Tokyo, the rent dropped by 0.3%, 4,324 square meters on average. So it's a down for first time for 2 months. Let's go to the press release. And this is the rent in Tokyo. 首都圏ね、これ。In red. This is a greater Tokyo. Greater Tokyo ね。これ。And Osaka area and Nagoya area in green. And if you look at the more central area, 23 wards or cities in Tokyo, although average price of the rent overall Greater Tokyo area dropped, but if you focus on 23 cities in Tokyo, the rent is still growing. It's still going up. But Yokohama, it dropped quite significantly. In Osaka, it's also growing. I mean, it's rising. So it's a patchy, right? Overall, Greater Tokyo, the rent dropped. So it's a very similar to the residential buy sell properties as well. And theoretically, the rent and the value of the properties needs go parallel, because when the rent goes up, theoretically the value of the property should go up as well. So since the growth rate of the rent is kind of becoming plateauing, meaning that Greater Tokyo properties price-wise may be facing a plateau. Although it's, as you can see, it's still on the uptrend, but at least for short-term market looks like being plateau sideways. But if you look at the central areas, 23 cities in Tokyo, the rent is still very steady. How much steady was that in central Tokyo area? Let me check. It doesn't say. 23 ward cities. I take it back. The slightly down, it says 0.3% down in 23 cities in Tokyo, central area. That's interesting. So even the central area is plateauing. That's interesting, isn't it? Yokohama down 1.3, Chiba down 1.1, Osaka went up 0.7%. Kobe down 0.8%. Right. I think this is it. I looked into other news, but I really could not find any interesting updates about the market. As I said earlier, it's very quiet week in Japan. A lot of people take holidays, although it's not the national holidays, but a lot of companies shut down, especially the manufacturers. They stop the manufacturing, like company like a Toyota or Nissan. They shut down the factories, and a lot of employees take the holidays, as I said, and they get together with parents and pay tribute to our ancestors. Spiritual week. Right. Okay. This is it about the market update. So let me take a look at your questions. Black Tang-san, yes, we have the same in Greece. Oh, you do. It's called All Souls Day. Okay, that's a very nice name. When the soul returned to visit the living for a day. Right. Black Tang-san, are there any Meiji or pre-war Showa properties in the greater Tokyo area going for, say, around 15 million yen? Oh, what happened to your property in Kyoto, wasn't it? You were chasing the properties in Kyoto, right? Is it gone? Meiji properties. I'm sure there are Meiji area properties in Tokyo. Let's check. Sumo. Let's go to Sumo. Sumo には出てないかな。Let's go to Central area. Maybe outskirts of Tokyo will be better. The central areas, land is too expensive, and they normally demolish old buildings and build new buildings. It's sad to see, old traditional Japanese houses being demolished, but due to economic reason, the owner still has to make the money, right? So they tend to build new buildings. 築年数30年以上にしてみようか。Nothing. I clicked more than 30 years old. There is no listing. 25年だと 25, even 25, nothing. Wow. No, I cannot find old buildings, at least in Sumo. Let me search otherwise. 古民家。首都圏。 Kominka roof in Yamanashi. Looks like it's a hotel or Airbnb. Chiba. Sashimis. ああ、埼玉ね。埼玉にあるかもしれない。Looks like this site is for traveling. Let me go to other. Tokyo style. Antique. They all rent. For rent. Not for sale. $15 million yen. It's a budget is too tight, Black Ten-san, as you are well aware. In Tokyo, you need to have at least 20 million yen to have to buy the decent house. 20 million minimum. On average, people are paying 50 to 60 million yen. So 20 million yen is a very low end. With the 15 million yen, you can buy this old house. Do you want to buy this house? This house looks like kind of a warehouse or whatever. And it's not even a freehold. It's a shakuchiken, meaning rental land. Wow. It is very old, isn't it? I wouldn't buy this one. Is this a house? How old is it? It doesn't even say when it was built. Maybe they have no record. How about this one? This one is kind of renovated. It's in Itabashi, so it's within 23 cities. Looks pretty good, huh? It's been renovated, and it was built in Showa 44. It's not really Meiji era. Meiji era, it's more than 100 years old, my friend. If the house is more than 100 years old, it's not really existing anymore. It's too old. 昭和44年ということはいつだ？昭和45年は、44年は、1969. It was built. This one is built 1969. Very old, but renovated in Itabashi area. And the price tag for this property is 36 million yen, and it's freehold. The lot size is 81 square meters. The building size is 66 square meters. It's empty. and it's an investment property, so it's being rented out, and the gross return is 3.3%. Looks nice. I can live in there. I don't know how much is the rent. Meijera, it's I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it's extremely challenging. With your budget, I would say it's impossible. Right. Let me go to another question. Is there residential market improving though? Yes, in Tokyo, especially Tokyo, property market has been very steady. It's growing like crazy. I've never seen this kind of growth for the last couple decades. Central area is growing like 10% every year. It's just everybody's just scrambling to buying the property, especially mansion, condos, condominiums. Chris Williamson, thank you very much for your question. Are foreigners allowed to buy commercial property or only residential? You can buy both. You can buy both. But if you live in, you're from Australia, right? As far as I remember. But if you live in foreign countries, Japanese banks will not lend you money. So you cannot expect Japanese bank to offer you the mortgage loan, meaning that you have to pay in cash. But you can pay as far as you can pay in cash. You can buy commercial properties like residential building for the return commercial investment, and or the residential for living. Either way, you can rent out as an Airbnb if you wish, but Airbnb is in Tokyo is a little bit complex because a lot of the walls, cities are putting extra restrictions because people are living in the area don't really like Airbnbs, obviously, or long-term residents. They don't want to see, the rogue foreign travelers making crazy sounds at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? Which we often see, and everybody's just sick of those rogue foreign tourists. So a lot of cities are putting extra restrictions. So, but if you go to outside Tokyo, you can rent out quite easily because there are very few people living there. Black Tanks, I lost the property in Sayoga. Ah, you did, huh? Sorry to hear that. Pao Sheila-san, thank you very much for your comment and question. Where are you from? Sheila-san. Sounds like, I don't know, Spanish? How difficult is to get rented home with the area of for a job from same home like acupuncture, Reiki session at home, being foreigner, half Japanese, half Latin America. To get rented a home with the area for. I'm sorry, I don't really understand. What do you mean? You want to rent a property for your acupuncture? By the way, I love acupuncture. I take acupuncture quite regularly. There is a acupuncture sensei nearby my home. I mean, my room here. So I often go there, maybe twice a week. No, not twice a week. Once every 2 weeks. Shirasawa-san is your last name, huh? I'm finishing my papers. Koseki Hon. All those issues. I'm looking for moving permanently in Tokyo. Do you have a Japanese passport? I do for living magnet therapies. Okay. So you're a therapist. I like Reiki too. I meditate with Reiki music every night before I go to sleep. Learning Reiki and those kind of therapies. Good for you. I'd like to find a place to rent. Oh, well, if you have a Japanese passport and with the proper income, I mean stable income, renting a property for your business is not that difficult. But if you want to rent a house for your business, it could be quite challenging because the owner of the houses prefer renting out for residence purpose, not for business purpose. But if you want to rent a commercial property for your business, that's easy because the owners are willing to rent out their rooms or their buildings for commercial purpose. But a lot of houses owners want to rent out for residence purpose because houses are normally located in the residential area, right? Naturally, and Japanese people do care about the neighborhood. And if the tenants make being a nuisance, the owner of the house feel guilty about it, even if they are not really the one making the noises, because the owner often knows the neighbors and that they lose the face towards the neighborhood. So they're often very careful about the tenants, the nature of the tenants. Well, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it could be challenging. Let's put it this way. My bet is to look for pre-war properties elsewhere. Okay. In Kyoto and here, yeah. Well, I'm sure you can find very old houses. But in Tokyo, as we just researched, it's almost impossible with your budget. I'm on my passport and selling all the staff here in Latin America. Latin America, huh? Which country is that? Brazil? Commercial property that I'm traveling with my cat also. Only one cat. Okay. Pet can be an issue as well. Some owners don't like the pet because the pet always damages the property. I mean, there are properties which allow the pet, but the number of the properties are quite limited actually. Lobu Heinz 3-san, thank you very much for your comment. For non-buildable properties, are they seen as normal by Japanese tenants? You mean 再建築は不可物件でしょ? Normally, tenants really don't care about the non-rebuildable or not. As far as the rooms are clean, nice and clean, they don't really care. But you have to notify though. But because they are only tenants, right? But so normally, as far as the room is nice and clean, tenants don't really care. Chris Williams, I finished reading your book. Thank you very much for purchasing my book. How expensive could it be to rent a commercial place? Wow, it really depends on the location and size. Yeah, I would say 200 to 300,000 yen. Let's say for 50 to 60 square meters room in Tokyo. If you're going to the nice central area for the commercial area to attract your customers, because you are retail in a business, right? And if you want to be located in places in like Ginza, obviously it'll be more expensive. But if you just rent properties for residence plus your business, I would say 200 to 300,000 yen per month for 50 to 60, 50 square meters. Right. Okay. I think I have answered all your questions. Oops. Sorry. Thank you very much for watching my live stream. I will come back again next week. Have a nice rest of your weekend, and good night. Thank you. さよなら。おやすみなさい。